Is my screen visible to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So in previous lecture, we were discussing about message digest. Can anybody tell me a very small definition of message digest? What is message digest? In previous lecture, we were talking about message digest. So can you tell me what is message digest? No one? You don't remember?
Yes,
Huh?
yes, function है.
It uses hash function. Okay. Anything else? Anyone else wants to describe what is message digest?
वर्ड बाय वर्ड इंक्रिप्शन करता है ये वाला.
Word by word encryption करता है. I didn't get it. What do you mean by word encryption? See, I'm talking about message digest. So what was message digest? It was also known as fingerprint of the message. Fingerprint in the sense, now what is the problem or security goal that we are going to achieve using message digest? We want to achieve authentication, confidentiality, or integrity. What is that we want to achieve using message digest? Integrity, right? Okay. So what happens when we are using message digest? Suppose there are two different messages. So the message digest created for two different messages will always be different. So this is the requirement of a message digest. Okay. Second thing, it should not work in the opposite direction. Like in the sense, if you have original data, from original data, you can construct message digest. But from message digest, you should not be able to know what is the original data. One more requirement is that for original data, how many times if you find message digest, every time you will get the same message digest. So these were the three requirements of message digest. Now we talked about collision also in previous lecture, and we talked about birthday attack. Okay. One more thing which is very important is message digest should not reveal anything about original message. But basically we use it for integrity. What we want is, suppose a receiver is receiving a message, original message, as well as a message digest. Okay. So suppose we have a system like this. There is a sender. Okay. Now a sender wants to communicate with this receiver. This is sender A. This is receiver B. Okay. Now what will happen? Sender A, along with sending the plain text message or original message, sender A will also send message digest. Will also send message digest. Okay. So this plain text will be received by B. Also, this message digest would be received by B. Now what will happen? Now B will have a plain text, right? So B will calculate message digest for this plain text again. B will calculate message digest for this plain text, or we can say it is not plain text but the message. Let's call it message. Okay, just message. It could be in another form also. Okay. Now suppose the message is there with B. B will calculate message digest and compare it with the message digest which is sent by A. This is the message digest 1 which is sent by A. Suppose this is message digest 2 which is generated by B. Now B will compare both these message digests. If they both are equal, it means that the message has not been modified, means the integrity is maintained during the transmission. So that is about message digest, right? But suppose A is also sending message digest to B, okay? But somebody is able to get this message digest. Then from this message digest, no one should be able to know what was the original message. So they should not be able to decrypt or somehow get the original message. So that is the requirement of message digest. Okay, there is an algorithm, MD5 algorithm, which is used for message digest. Okay, and we'll be discussing about that after we discuss this map. So now let's come to next topic, that is message authentication code. Now, what is message authentication code? Basically, it is having a similar concept as message digest, but one difference is there, that message digest was simply a fingerprint of the message. Okay, there was no cryptographic process involved in it, right? There was no cryptographic process involved in it, just hashing we are using, or any hash function we are using to create message digest. But basically, MAC requires the sender and receiver should know a symmetric key. Message authentication requires the sender and receiver to know a symmetric key, which will be used for the preparation of MAC. Okay, so that is why we can say that MAC involves cryptographic process. Now let's see how it works. Again, MAC protects the message integrity as well as authentication. So here we are going to get integrity as well as authentication. While in message digest we only got integrity. Okay, so here we are going to have integrity as well as authentication. You can understand by the name itself, message authentication code. Okay, so obviously authenticity or authentication would be involved. Now this is the working of message authentication code. Here you can see there is a sender A, there is a receiver B. Okay, now the sender A is sending a message. In step 1, sender A is going to calculate H1 using this key. Now this key is a symmetric key. So same key would be there with B also. B also would be having this same key. Okay. So using the symmetric key and this input message, sender A will create H1, that is message authentication code. Now sender A will send the message, original message, as well as this H1 to B. Okay. Sender A will send this message as well as this H1. H1 is nothing but our MAC. So he would send this MAC as well as this message to B. Now receiver B is having message. Okay, is receiving the message. So receiver B will again calculate message authentication code. Receiver B will again calculate MAC, that is known here as H2. Now receiver, how he will calculate? Receiver B is also having that symmetric key which was used by A. So using symmetric key on this message authentication, on this original message and message authentication code algorithm. So he would generate this H2. Now receiver B will compare H1 with H2. Okay. If H1 and H2 are the same, so what we say that the integrity is maintained. Okay. Nobody or attacker has not changed the message content. Okay. So this is how message authentication code works. Now let me explain it to you again. So what is happening here? Sender A wants to send a message M to receiver B. So the processing is like this, as I've told you. Now, what is the significance of MAC? Basically, MAC or message authentication code assures the receiver, who is the receiver here? Here it is B, that the message is not altered. Altered means it is not modified. Why? Because if an attacker alters the message, he is not going to be able to alter MAC. Why? Because he is not having that symmetric key. So an attacker cannot alter the MAC because he is not having the symmetric key. So then the receiver's calculation of MAC. Here in this case, we were having receiver's calculation of MAC, that was H2, and H1 was the MAC which was generated by sender A. Okay. So if there is an attack or if there is an alteration in the message, then H1 and H2 will differ from each other. Okay. So why attacker cannot alter MAC? So that is what I have already told you, that MAC requires K to be known. Now K is the symmetric key. This key is known only to A and B. So attacker is not having the key and therefore he cannot alter the MAC, but he can alter the message but cannot alter MAC. Okay. Now secondly, the receiver, who is the receiver here, B, is assured that the message actually came from A. Why he is assured? So this is how we are getting integrity. This example, the significance is how we are getting integrity. And this is for authentication. So receiver B is assured that the message actually came from the sender A because only A is knowing the secret key. Because only A knows the secret key and no one else is knowing the secret key. So nobody else can calculate H1, which was sent by A. So here we are getting authentication as well as integrity. All right. So in case of MAC, both sender and receiver are performing only encryption process. So you can see only encryption is performed to generate MAC. Only encryption again here to perform MAC. But there is no decryption involved in message authentication code. Is it clear? I hope all of you understood this much. Understood?
Yes,
Or should
ma'am.
I repeat? आया समझ में या मैं रिपीट करूं? फिर से रिपीट करूं?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Means you want me to repeat? Yes?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. See. When I said message authentication code, so I also said that message authentication code protects both data integrity as well as authenticity. Means we are getting integrity as well as authenticity. Now, what is the process? What is the working of MAC? Now, suppose sender A wants to send a message to receiver B. So this is the steps. These are the steps. Okay, sender A is having this message M and a key K. Now this key is symmetric key. Remember symmetric key means same key is going to be used by sender as well as receiver. So this is already known to sender and receiver that this is their symmetric key. Okay. Now sender A will generate message authentication code here named as H1 using this key on the message and algorithm whatever is used. And sender A will send the message and this H1 to receiver B. Send the message M and H1 to receiver B. Now, once receiver B is getting this message M, so he would again calculate MAC. He would again calculate MAC and it is stored in H2. So H1 was sent by sender A. H2 is generated by B. Here again calculation of MAC involves using this symmetric key. Okay. So now receiver B will compare H1 is equal to H2. Yes, if it is equal, अगर ये equal है, तो it means that message has not been modified. क्योंकि अगर ये equal नहीं होगा, then what will happen? It means that message has been modified or altered. मतलब कि integrity has not been maintained. Okay. So one thing what we got is integrity. Why? Because suppose there is some attacker C. Now attacker C is getting this M. He is able to get M. He alters M and sends some another M, say M1 to B. So when B will calculate message authentication code for this M1, it would be different. It would be different. Okay. Then this H1 which is sent. Clear? So it would be different. So second thing, why is he not able to change H1? H1 is the message authentication code. Why he cannot change H1? Because he does not know this secret key. This is the symmetric secret key which is only known to sender and receiver B. So hence we are getting integrity. All right. Now how we are getting authentication? Now receiver B knows that this message came only from A. Why? It came only from A because H1 if equal to H2, can be generated by A only if A is knowing this secret key. So this is how we are getting authentication as well as integrity. Now all of you understood?
Yes,
आया
ma'am.
समझ में? Okay. So let me now show you how actually HMAC works. Okay. So what is HMAC first of all? So HMAC is a hash based message authentication code. All right. It has been chosen as an implementation for IP security and SSL protocol. So this HMAC is widely used in our networking. Where it has been used, it is used in IP security and SSL. All of you know what is SSL. SSL is secure socket layer protocol. Okay, and hence it is used widely on internet. Now, what is the fundamental idea behind HMAC? The fundamental idea is to reuse the existing message digest algorithm. There are two message digest algorithm. We will discuss about them after the completion of this HMAC. That is MD5 and SHA-1. How MD5 works and how SHA-1 works, we will see later. So these are two message digest algorithm. So the idea of HMAC was to reuse this two message digest algorithm because we don't want to invent a new thing. Okay, so basically it can work with any message digest algorithm. This HMAC can work with any message digest algorithm. It may be MD5, SHA-1 or SHA-3. It could be SHA-3 also. And that is the reason, that is, it treats the message digest as a black box. So it is not going to involve anything, means involve in message digest algorithm. It is just going to use the message digest. HMAC is just going to use the message digest which is generated by any of these algorithm. Okay. Secondly, it also used this concept of symmetric key to encrypt the message digest. So if message digest में the encryption of symmetric using symmetric key was not used, but in HMAC it is done. So this is the process how it happens. So it happens in this way. We have an original message. Okay, now this original message, we apply existing message digest algorithm such as MD5 or SHA-1 on this original message, and we get a message digest. Okay. So on original message, we apply MD5 or SHA-1, which are message digest algorithm, and we generate message digest. Now this message digest is encrypted. It is encrypted using the symmetric key K, and MAC is generated. So this is known as HMAC. Clear? What is HMAC? So HMAC follows these steps. Whatever is the original message, MD5 or SHA-1 on any message digest algorithm is applied on the original message, and it will generate a message digest. Now this message digest is encrypted to generate MAC. Okay. Now let's see the working. First of all, let's understand what are the variables used in HMAC. So first variable is MD. MD means the message digest or the hash function used by either MD5 or SHA-1. M. M is the input message whose MAC is to be calculated. Okay, M is the input message whose MAC is to be calculated. Next, L. L is the number of blocks in the input message M. B is the number of bits in each block. Okay, these are the variables which we'll be using for HMAC calculation. Okay, B is the number of bits in each block. K is the shared symmetric key that we are going to use to generate HMAC. IPAD, this IPAD is fixed. This IPAD is fixed. Remember, it is fixed. It is like this: 0 0 1 1 0 1 1 0. and it is repeated for every bit by 8 number of times. B by 8 number of times. ठीक है, number of bits in each block by 8 times. There is OPAD. iPad means input pad hai, and OPAD means output pad. That is a string 010111010, and it is repeated every B by 8 number of times. Okay. So these are all the variables that we are having: MD, M, L, B, K, iPad and OPAD. Remember, this iPad and OPAD are fixed. Now what are the steps of HMAC? So this is the first step. So the first step is make the length of K equal to B. So here there are three possibilities that we are thinking. That the length of K, what is K? K is the key. What is B? B is the number of bits in each block. So first thing what we want to do is we want to make the length of our symmetric key equal to the length of our block. So there are three conditions. Either K is less than B, or it is equal to B, or it is greater than B. Okay? So if K is less than B, then what we will do? Then we will append 0 bits to the left of K so that its length is equal to B. Append 0 bits to the left of K so that its length is equal to B. कब append करेंगे? If length of K is less than B. Second thing, if length is equal to B, you are going to do nothing. If length is equal to B, you are going to do nothing. Third case, length of K is greater than B. If length of K is greater than B, then hash K to reduce its length to B. So what we are going to do, we are going to apply hashing on K. K is our symmetric key. So we will apply hashing on K such that its length is reduced to B. So there are three cases. Remember, if less than B, then we will append bits. If it is equal to B, we will do nothing. If it is greater than B, then we will reduce key using hashing. Okay. So this is the first step. I have told you what are the three possibilities. Length of K is less than B, length of key equal to B, length of key greater than B. So we have done all the steps. Okay. Sorry. We have checked what to do when the length is less than B, when the length of K is equal to B, and when the length is greater than B. Okay, now this is the process. Now what is this second process? Second step is XOR K with iPad to produce S1. Remember iPad? What was iPad? iPad is equal to a string that is 001101110. iPad is so sorry, actually this pen. Okay, suppose I'm writing here. See, iPad is nothing but 001101110 that we have seen in the earlier slide. Okay, that is iPad. So what we will do is in step number 2, we will XOR K. K is our symmetric key with iPad to generate S1. Remember, we are XORing K with iPad to generate S1. You already know what is the meaning of XOR. XOR का मतलब क्या होता है? What is XOR? If both the input are 1, then your XOR answer would be
0.
0. Yes. And both input is 0, then? Then
0.
if anyone is 1, If both out of any both input, if anyone is 1, so what we will get? 1. Okay, so that is about X. All right. So now next step is we have S1 with us. So we will append S1 with our original message. We have S1 with us. So we will append original message to S1. So this is the final generated input. Now this input S1 and the original message M. So this is fed into message digest algorithm to generate this H. It is fed into message digest algorithm. This algorithm could be MD5, it could be SHA-1, or it could be any other message digest algorithm, and we will get H. So message digest algorithm is applied on S1 plus M. Now next thing what is done? We are going to XOR the symmetric key with the OPAD, output pad. We were going to XOR the symmetric key K with OPAD to generate S2. iPad के साथ में XOR करते तो क्या मिलता है? S1. OPAD के साथ में XOR करते तो क्या मिलता है? S2. Now the steps is like this. Append H to S2. So here we got H. H क्या है? Message digest, which is generated after message digest algorithm. So this H is appended with S2. This is the message which is going to be input for the next step. And then we apply message digest algorithm to generate MAC. It will be MAC algorithm to generate MAC. Okay, so these are the steps. We have key. This key is transformed. Why it is transformed? If it is less than B or greater than B, then we are going to transform transform the key. Then we have iPad. So we will XOR the iPad to generate S1. S1 is appended with M, and message digest algorithm is applied on this combination of S1 and M, and we are getting H. Now here, again the transform key, whatever was the transform key here, that is XORed with OPAD to generate S2. And this S2 is appended with this H. And again, message digest algorithm is applied to get HMAC. So this is the working of HMAC. Understood the working of HMAC? All of you understood? आया समझ में? तो ये पूरा वर्किंग है एक साथ में.
मैम
हाँ.
मैम की को ट्रांसफॉर्म कर रहे हैं तो साइज ज़्यादा है तो रिड्यूस करना पड़ेगा, तो रिड्यूस कैसे करेंगे वो?
हैशिंग यूज करके.
हैशिंग.
हाँ. So basically hashing can generate a fixed number of bits from a variable input size. ठीक है. So hashing यूज करके we are going to transform key if it is greater than B. If it is less than B, we are going to append some bits. Okay.
Yes.
So now, so the last step, all the steps we have seen. I'm so sorry. So this is the complete operation of HMAC. So what is done? Basically, sender is having the message. He would generate MAC using MAC algorithm and the key, and the message and MAC is sent to the receiver. Okay, so here with HMAC also the same process is followed. Okay, so receiver will again calculate MAC using MAC algorithm because he's also having the key. And if the MAC is same, then the message is authentic and integrity is checked. Otherwise, it is having some problem. Now, what is the disadvantage of HMAC? So basically, HMAC does not solve some of the problems. Like one of the problem is symmetric key. Because we are using symmetric key in HMAC, so it is not solving the problem of key exchange. We have to use symmetric key, and we have to use some key exchange algorithm so that A and B both can have that same symmetric key. Second thing is HMAC cannot be used if the number of receivers is greater than 1. See, if we want to send a message to multiple receivers, suppose A wants to send same message to B, C, D, so that time HMAC cannot work. Why? Because we are going to use only one key which is known to A and B. So there would be some another key which is used with A and B, A and C. There would be some other key which is used with A and D. So we cannot use the HMAC which is generated by A with other users. Okay, so if we are having multiple parties who are sharing the same symmetric key, so then we can solve the previous problem. But again, the key exchange problem is there. Now, assume that key exchange problem is solved, then only we can have this multiple parties share the same symmetric key. Now, third problem is how does a receiver know that the message was prepared and sent by the sender and not by anyone of the receiver? Like for example, there are multiple receivers, right? So how receiver will know that it is sent by sender and not by other receivers? So what is the conclusion? That we can have only two parties and not more than two parties. One more thing we cannot get from message authentication code, that is non-repudiation. You know the meaning of non-repudiation? Non-repudiation means if someone sends a message, so he should not be able to deny that the message has been sent by him. Okay. So here we are not going to achieve non-repudiation. Here we are going to achieve only authentication and integrity. Okay. So these are the disadvantages of HMAC. So till now we have discussed message digest. We have discussed MAC, HMAC. Okay. Before message digest, we discussed digital envelope. Okay. And digital envelope and one more thing we discussed, right? Digital signature. So these are how actually these things are working, right? But practically we are going to do with some other way. We are not going to involve all these steps practically. होगा practically, but आपको नहीं पता चलेगा because you are going to use them in different way. Okay. So in practical, it would be more clear how we are going to use all of these. Now, when I told you, I'm going to show you the working of Message Digest 5, MD5 and SHA-1. So let's understand how MD5 works. So basically, MD5 has been designed by Ronald Rivest. Again, he is the designer of RSA algorithm. You know what is RSA algorithm? Used for asymmetric encryption. Okay. And basically, it is the latest series of MD2 and MD4. So before MD5, there was MD1, 2, 3, and 4, which he himself generated. But some of them failed and some of them were not so good. So he generated Message Digest 5. So basically, MD5 works on 512-bit blocks. So here in MD5, we are going to use 512-bit blocks as input. It produces a 128-bit hash value. So you can see it could be a large block, but how many bits of block we are having? 512 bits of block, and we are getting a hash value which is a fixed size. Input size could be variable. Remember, message digest may or in hashing, input size could be variable, but the output generated or the hash value generated is of fixed size. Okay, so we are going to get 128-bit hash value, which is known as message digest. And it has been specified in this standard RFC 1321. So basically, MD5 is quite fast. So before MD5, the original algorithm was known as MD. And then he had different versions like MD2, but it was weak. Then he had MD3, but there was again a failure. MD4 was good, but then he released finally MD5. Okay. And we can say that MD5 is quite fast as it produces 128-bit message digest. All right. And for input, it is using 512-bit blocks. And this input, if you're talking about 512-bit blocks, is further divided into 16 blocks of 32-bit. So we are having 32-bit sub blocks, and how many blocks are going to be there? 16. So 16 into 32, that is going to be 512. Okay. So now what is the step of MD5? What are the steps included for generating MD5? So the first step is like this: padding. First step is padding. Padding means we are going to add some bits. When are we going to add some bits? See, we want the input to be multiple of 512. we want input to be multiple of 512. Okay. So if the length is less than 512, so we will have to add some padding to get 512 as the total length. So suppose we are having 448 bits as input, 448 bits as input. So how many bits we will add? 64 bits we will add to get 512 bits. Similarly, if we have input of 960 bit, okay, we can have two blocks, each block of 512 bit. So how many bits are it less? 64 bits are less. So we have to add 64 bit padding. Then similarly, suppose we have 1472 number of bits. So we can have three blocks, each block of 512 bits. But again, there is a shortfall of 64 bits. So we will add 64 bit padding. So this is how it is going to happen. So if original message contain 1000 bits, tell me how many bits extra are you going to need for padding? If your input is of 1000 bits, tell me how many extra bits would be required for padding. How many bits would be padded here? Dekho, one block is of 512 bits. So here for 1000, we cannot suffice with one block. So we will require two block. So two block means 512 into 2. कितना होता है? 1024. Am I correct?
Yes.
So how many bits will be padded here? How many bits would be used for padding? 24 bits would be required for padding. Clear? 1000, 1024 minus 1000. 1000 तो है हमारे पास, बट हमको कितनी चाहिए? 1024, ताकि हमारे पास दो दो ब्लॉक हो जाए 512 बिट के. Okay, so we can have original message padded with 1 to 512 bits, and this is our first step. Okay. Now second step. So in second step, we are going to append the length. Length means length of the original message. Now suppose the length, it is expressed in 64 bit. So this 64 bit would be inserted here as a length. All right. After 64 bit length of the message is appended, it becomes final message, and the length of the message is now a multiple of 512. Length of the message is a multiple of 512. See, length of the original message excluding padding bits is calculated. मतलब original message का length calculate होता है without padding bits. Okay. So let's see an example of that. Suppose there is this message. This is the message, good morning. And I'm using some message digest algorithm, MD5 on this. So this good morning is converted into ASCII bit code representation. So G के लिए ये 8 bits, O के लिए next 8 bits, O के लिए again there is this another bit 8 bits, D this another 8 bits. So how many characters we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. See here how many ASCII code we will have. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1 is for the space also. Can you tell me the length of this message? Good morning का length क्या है? What is the
12.
length of the message? Huh?
12.
12 है ना? हाँ. So same 12 8 bits के हमारे ASCII कोड होंगे. ठीक है? ये G इसका हम ASCII कोड में कन्वर्शन करेंगे, स्मॉल g का. सिमिलरली स्मॉल o का ASCII कोड, स्मॉल o ASCII कोड सेम. D का ASCII कोड this is the ASCII code for space. समझ में आया? So this is the ASCII bit code representation of this message. Now can you tell me, is it a multiple of 512? 512 है ये total length. 8 into 12 कितना होता है? 8 बिट्स का एक ASCII बिट कोड है. How many we are having? 12. So 8 into 12 is?
96.
So the message contains how many bits? Only 96 bit. But we have to use 512 bits as input. So what we have to do? We have to add some bits which are known as padding bits. So how many bits we will add as padding? So 352 plus 96 कितना होता है? 352 plus 96 कितना होता है?
448.
448. So basically we want to pad in such a way that it is 448 mod 512. अब आप पूछोगे 448 mod 512 क्यों? कि हम लास्ट में 64 बिट्स का हमारा लेंथ भी ऐड करते हैं, है ना? Along with that length, the 64 bit length, message and padding. P for padding, this is message and this is 64 bit length. ठीक है, इन सबको मिला के हमको करना है 512. ठीक है, so we know the size of message की साइज क्या है? 96 bit. We know that 64 is required. तो P कितना होगा? 512 minus M minus 64. That is 352. So we'll add 352 bits because 448 mod 512 is required. Okay. So here what we are going to do is we are going to add 1 and remaining 351 zeros. So this is the format. So after this operation, a 64-bit value which represents the length of the message. What is the length? Length is 96. तो ये 64 बिट में 96 हमारी लेंथ है ना? तो ये 96 ये यहाँ पे रिप्रेजेंट हुआ है. And this is our whole message. So this is the padding. So your padding starts from here. Padding starts from here. ठीक है? So first bit of padding is 1 and the remaining are 0. और उसके बाद में हम 64 बिट के मैसेज का लेंथ हम इंसर्ट करते हैं. So the length is 96. ठीक है? So these two bits are 1. Understood all of you or you want me to repeat it? समझ में आया ये प्रोसेस?
मैम लेंथ वाला सिर्फ एक बार बता दो.
देखो what I say here, the total length input length should be 512. ठीक है? Total should be 512. This is the data which is going to be hashed. So we have some original message. This length is the length of this original message. Length जो हम यहाँ पे add करते हैं 64 bit का, it is the length of the original message and we have padding. So this is how we are going to have second step. Now let's understand it through example. Suppose this is our message good morning. ठीक है? तो ये good morning हम represent कर रहे हैं in how many bits? So G is represented by ASCII bit. ASCII मतलब 8 bit का coding होता है. ASCII means 8-bit coding. So G is converted to 8-bit coding. Similarly, O, D, space, M, O, R, N, I, N, G. So this is the total ASCII bit code for this input message. Good morning. तो अगर हम इसको कैलकुलेट करें तो ये कितने हैं, कितने कैरेक्टर्स हैं? That is 12. So 12 into 8, that is 96. So our input message length is 96. मैसेज का लेंथ क्या है? 96 है. अब पैडिंग कितना डालना है? So 96 we already have. What is 96? The length of message. ठीक है? We already know we require 64 bit to represent the length of this message. ठीक है? 64 bit हम किस लिए यूज करते हैं? ये मैसेज का लेंथ रिप्रेजेंट करने के लिए 64 bit यूज करते हैं. Right? Now how much padding we require? So padding is equal to 512 minus 64 minus 96, that is 352. Okay, that is basically we want to have padding in such a way that we have 448 mod 512. Next what we will do, we will add 1 and 351 zeros. So this is for padding. We are adding 1 and 351 zeros. Okay. So after this operation, 64-bit value which represents the original length of the message is added. Original length कहाँ पे है? मतलब कितना होगा? 96. Original length कितना है? 96. ये 96 को आप रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे हो इन 64 बिट. देखो 64 बिट में रिप्रेजेंट करते हो 96 को, तो यहाँ पे क्या आता है? 1 आएगा. सी दिस इज 1, then 2, 4, 8, 16, 32 and 64. So 64 plus 32, it is nothing but 96. ठीक है, इसलिए यहाँ पे 1 1 आया है. ओके. Now total our input message is like this. Our message, after message we have this 1, this is the padding, huh? And 351 zero. So ये पूरा padding है. कहाँ तक? Somewhere up till here. And then we have 64 bits to represent the length of the message. Length of the message कितना है? 96, इसलिए यहाँ पे 2 1 आया. Clear? Now understood example of MD5?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So good. So this was an example of MD5. Now there are further steps also. So now the step 3 is divide the input into 512 bit block. अब समझो कि हमारे पास 1000 bit का block है. So 1000 would be converted to 1024 and we will have multiple blocks. Each block of 512 bits. Okay. Then after that, we are going to have some different steps like initialize the chaining variable. This is the process that is going to happen. Okay, and I'm showing you the actual process. This is the whole process which is going to happen for each round. There would be multiple rounds and this is the process. We will discuss about this in next lecture. Just to show you, I'm showing here. Okay, and this is the overall process of MD5. So your 512 bits, the padding bits and the message length. Okay, it is divided into 512 bit blocks and we are going to apply message digest algorithm MD5 on each block. ठीक है, हर एक block पे हम ये apply करेंगे. And finally, this is our 128 bit digest. This is our 128 bit message digest. Okay, so we will discuss the overall process. All these steps I'll tell you how it works in next lecture. Is it clear whatever I taught you in today's lecture?